Hi FlossTube, my name's Dana and my channel name is Gemstone Stitches. I'm back to do a January update. Today is February 1st, 2023. I've had a really fun January of stitchy stuff. Some whips, starts, sort of a restart start, and some purchases. I'll wait to the end for that, but it's always fun to buy new stuff. I'm coming to you from Vermont. It is super cold here. I don't know how cold it is though. I forgot to check the temperature. I think we're still above 0 today, but by Friday it's gonna be like -10, -15. And the daytime might reach the double digits in the high. And we're actually going out with friends on Friday night, so it's gonna be frigid. We'll just have to have a couple drinks to warm us up, right? All right, let's get into the stitching. I'm gonna start with my whips first. This is Up on the Rooftop by Tilton Crafts. I don't think it's available there anymore. The way I got it was I emailed the website. I went to tiltoncrafts.com and found an email and asked for the pattern, and they ended up giving it to me. Otherwise, you can find it, I think, in other places. But I ended up getting it from Tilton Crafts. That being said, though, I think they mailed it to me, a printed copy, and I haven't tried to put it on Pattern Keeper. It is a full coverage. From what I understand, what I heard from Carolyn Mazio, or it's not her name, that's what she used to be called, Carolyn Mazio. What is her channel name now? It's like the FlossTube Stitcher, I think. She's also stitching this, and she has tried to get it uploaded to Pattern Keeper and has not been able to get it there. The symbols, I guess, aren't recognized. So I'm glad I haven't spent time trying, but I am also, I'm having the struggle of, working on a paper pattern versus getting used to Pattern Keeper. So that's not so fun. But here is where I am now. I am going to try to do that side by side, what it used to look like versus what it looks like now. I like the way people do that on FlossTube. I just haven't figured it out. So I'm going to take a stab at it with this video. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to look a little off center. But yeah, here's where I am now. So then I'll bring it closer. I worked a lot more on the chimney here, and then Santa, and then also what I thought was another chimney, but at closer look, it is the sleigh, the start of the sleigh. I want to keep chugging away at this because I want to see what Santa looks like finished. I mean, from far away, I think it's going to be like, oh yeah, there's a little Santa up there. Kind of like the pattern. He's very small, but I want to see how much detail there is in him. I am happy to see some brighter reds come in. There it is. He's just tiny. And then he has a sack on his back. And then there's the sleigh. Chimney, Santa, sleigh. So, been having fun with this full coverage. The next one I have to share is Northern Expressions Needlework's Esther Waves. This has beads all throughout each band, as well as some cross stitch, mostly specialty stitch. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I worked on this Jessica stitch, and then these are all special. This is all specialty stitch. Then I got antsy to pull out the last 3. This is the very bottom. So this is the last total band 12, and there is an extra row of Jessica stitches down at the bottom. Sorry, got a phone call in there. These are, you do a lot of straight lines, but you start with vertical, then you go across and vertical across, so it's almost like a basket weave. It's really hard to be able to tell what is going on because it's so small on video. But the little diamond shapes around, I ended up doing with 2 strands of floss, and the center one is a single strand. I did read in the directions that she recommends doing 2 strands for these diamonds around, but I went ahead and just used 1 because I think I did that throughout the rest of the whole project. But I saw what she meant where it was a little sparse, so I pulled out the few that I did and did 2 strands for the diamonds, and that's why I've only gone through and did 1, 2, 3 of the middle squares, because this is only 1 strand of floss. So I still need to go in there and go in there with the middle specialty stitch. So I hope to have this done by the next time I see you as far as the stitching goes, so that I can get going on the beads. It's pretty big. Okay, the next one is a restart. I had started it and then I restarted because the fabric was too dark. It's Celtic Winter by Lavender and Lace. I am doing the conversion very, very similar to Miss Oh So Crafty. I'm changing up the blues just slightly, and I am going to probably do a little bit different colors for the winter. And I really want to add in these bright blues in the border somewhere. Blue treasure braid, PB08. And then these really, really beautiful blue beads. So I'll have to figure out how I can incorporate that. So far, I'm thinking maybe one of these, there's 2 little borders that go around, and I'm thinking maybe one of the borders could be that treasure braid. This is where I'm at so far, and this is the new fabric. I should have figured out what should have looked at what the fabric was before I started the video. But I think the blues are standing out more on this than that darker blue fabric I had it on. This is one of those, I don't know if you call it stamped fabrics, because the back is just plain, whereas the front has the modeling. So I still need to bring in, I have done, there's a light blue up here, and then a little bit darker right here. This one, this blue is slightly darker than this one, and then this one is the darkest. So there's 2 more blues bring in that are even darker than this one. And then the dress portion in the front will be silver gray swirls with beads and sparkles. Looking forward to that. I'm gonna stitch that throughout the winter, and then once spring comes, I will start Celtic Spring. And then I had a new start on my stocking. If you're interested at all, my last video I put up was a start with me video where I open up the stocking kit and start the stocking. I won't say it's the best quality. I think it's pretty good, except for the fact I'm not close, like what I have to show isn't close enough to the camera. So if you're really wanting to see my actual stitching, it's kind of far away from the camera. But if you're interested in the opening up the kit and seeing what's inside part and seeing how I start a project, I think it's good for that. This is called Sleigh Ride at Dusk Stocking. It is a Dimensions Gold Kit Collection stocking. And it looks like this finished. I started in the center using the fabric that came with the kit. And here's where I got to. So this is the church. And then this, I think, is part of the house. This is a tree. And then, can't remember if this is the tree or over here. Okay, so this is a tree. Maybe this is the tree. Not sure. One of these is the tree. But yeah, it's crazy. These very light peach to bright peach colors are part of the church. It's just the way the moon glow is, I guess, hitting the buildings, or the light is hitting the buildings. So a little start on that. So as you can see, these peaches are in the steeple and then the front of the church, whereas the side of the church has those darker colors. And there's the little trees and part of the house that I've stitched. And then my last new start, my last whip, now a whip, is Welcome Winter by the Drawn Thread. I have all the welcomes, and I plan to stitch these in the season that we're in. So right now it's frigid cold winter here in Vermont. Started in the center, and here's where I got to. So ELCO is stitched, part of the W, and then I got the snowman, the white part of the snowman done. Sorry. I'm using dinky dye threads, which is called for throughout, except for the snowman is DMC Blanc. All of this, except for the white, is 1 stitch over 2, or 1 thread over 2, and it's 30 count fabric, which is called for 30 count. I was a little bit sketchy about the idea of 1 strand going over 32 threads of 30 count linen. I thought, is that going to provide enough coverage? But it actually does. I think it's fine. I just did 2 with the white because it's snow, and I kind of wanted the snowman to look a little more puffy. But I did continue doing 2 strands with the white over here, which I think is fine. This is going to be a little scarf, so I have to put some straight stitches down here And then the house. Lots of red because the E, the end of E, has a big cardinal in it. And there's the house, the snowman. L just has snowflakes. Scarf, and this has some pine cones with pine needles on the W. And a nice, almost Christmas tree looking tree with lots of snow on it. Oh, and there's actually, I just noticed some smoke coming out of the chimney, so that's kind of cool. All right. So last year, I did a lot of monogamous stitching and I did a little bit of purchasing, but not much. This year, and I didn't do any starts last year. This year, I'm starting things. I'm not monogamously stitching, and I am having some fun purchasing stuff. So I wanted to show you a couple things that I've acquired. This is Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. I've always loved this one by Mirabilia, just because I like the colors a lot, all the pinks and oranges, and then the contrast of her dress, green dress with the blue. And then I hope this is all sparkly and beady up here. I think I got a little enabled to finally make that purchase by Elena Stitching Farmer. And then I got this, it's 32 count Star Sapphire Linen. Which is not the called for. So, what am I trying to do here? Hopefully, I'll have to do a floss toss. I do see that the dress is kind of this light green. So I want those to be able to stand out on the fabric. I think they will. This is more of a bluish color. It's coming off a little green in the camera, but this is more of a bluish color. And these are more icy bright blues, and there's more pop of green, like more of a lime green than just a muted green. So hopefully it'll work, but I will do a floss toss just in case. There's a few Kranix, or I guess 2 Kranix. I don't know if I have everything yet because some of the things were on back order. And then lots of beads. I got all the beads for it. Gold. There's some of these really big beads there. And some smaller blues. And then a couple, these are more glass, sparkly looking, whereas this is kind of muted, but it has like an orangish red, but then there's like a pink iridescent sheen on it, but it's still kind of muted. Very interesting. And then just some dark gray steel looking and gold beads. I'm not sure when I'll start that, but I'm in the mood to kit things up, and I got these bags from Amazon to really organize myself. And then my little daughter Tinsley, my 4-year-old, loves mermaids, and her name's Tinsley, so I went ahead and got her the Tea Mermaid. What's it called? It's called Letters from Mermaids by Nora Corbett, and this is tea. Lots of greens and browns in the tee, and then her dress is a pretty blue color. And I believe I got the called for fabric on this one. It's 32 count water lily linen. As you can see, the fabric looks a little more bright yellowy green, whereas this is more of a muted, but I think it still works. And then I think, yeah, I'm missing one of the green beads, but I got the Krennic and these other blue beads. I have a list of stuff that's on back order. Actually, now that I think of it, I made another order with 123 Stitch recently, and I think I was able to get most of what I'm missing as far as beads and specialty floss goes. Except there's probably still 3 or 4 that are out of stock right now. This one's a fun one. I actually got this last year and forgot to show you guys. It's called Cream and Sugar by Nora Corbett. And it's these teacups. So we have Blossom, Rose, Bloom, Petal, Fern, and Tulip. I saw Teresa Little Stitcher have this pattern, and I just loved it. I grew up visiting my grandmother every summer, and she had a big hutch. I don't know if you call it a hutch. I don't know, something you can hang your nice teacups and china in, and they were teacups that had the months of the year on them. And I always loved them for some reason. I just thought they were pretty. And I don't get to do this very much right now because I have some young kids and can't just mosey on into antique stores with small children. It doesn't go together. So here and there, I've been able to get into an antique store. And I've actually found one of the teacups. I'll show it in another video. Maybe when I start this, I'll show you. I got this September, I believe. Or maybe it's November. I don't know. One of the teacups. And I'm on a mission to stumble across them and get my own collection of them. And I've only found one so far. But one day, it'd be really nice to stitch this and then have my display of monthly teacups out. Get a piece of nice furniture that you can either display the teacups or hang them up somehow. They come with saucers too, so I don't know how that would work, but I'm sure there's plenty of different ways to display a teacup in a saucer. You can stitch these like this. Actually, it kind of shows you. You can do up and down. You can do them all separately, side by side, and of course you could probably scrunch them all together and do them together if you wanted. There's water lilies in these. So I think each one has 1 to 2 water lilies in them. There. So you can see which ones might go with which. And then each of them have these, I think they're more like bicone. They're the diamondy, very sparkly beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's kind of the orange, pink, blue, green, blue, yellowy clear, purple, and another pink. And then they all have lots of beads in them. Look at these fun beads. These bright oranges and purple, dark purple. A red, dark red, and a peach orange. A teal with a peach, light peach, which is interesting because these are kind of bigger compared to the rest of them. Makes me wonder if I ordered the right stuff sometimes. Because the rest of them are well, I don't know. These ones are teeny tiny, like, I don't know if you call them seed beads, whereas these are kind of the regular size. And then this last color is fun, lime green. Then I have, I ended up getting a fabric for my Sapphire Fairy, September Sapphire Fairy. That's going to be stitched for my daughter. This is what I've done so far on it, but the fabric is too small. I guess my head thought it was going to be a small little fairy, but it's bigger than, sorry, that's upside down. It's bigger than what I thought. It will fit on this, except there's just very little border, and I really don't want to be nervous about that the whole time I'm stitching it. So I went ahead and searched for some more fabric for that. And again, I got inspired by Elena Stitching Farmer. I have it on this boring old antique white. And I think her original, she's restarting Sapphire Fairy too. Her original was opalescent and it was hard to stitch on. So she got a new fabric and she wanted to get a light purple. So I looked at light purple and I looked at all options, and what I ended up going with is this Bittersweet Light Jobelan Even Weave. It's 32 count, so it's like peaches and cream, orange, what is that, creamsicle type color, I guess you could say. I think this is gonna work on it. I did get a purple. I should have brought it down. I'm actually gonna use that on a different project. It ended up being opalescent, which I didn't realize I ordered opalescent, but luckily I have something in mind to stitch using that fabric, so it won't go to waste. But that's what I'm gonna do now. I think it's gonna be really pretty. There's a bright orange in these, I don't know what you even call ribbons. I don't know, she has them in her hair, but I don't know if they come all the way down to the floor. And then I guess these are some kind of butterfly, or I don't know, something in a cage. So I think that'll work. Trying to have some fun with it, but there is a sale, September Sapphire. Oh gosh, I'll write it in the description box below what the sale is called. But for anybody who wants to stitch this, they can join there. I don't think there's any rules. It's really just like an Instagram hashtag to stitch along with each other. So if you're interested, you can join into that if you have the pattern on hand or in your stash, or if you want to order it and start, you can go ahead and do that. And then for I am having to do the same thing for my daughter Tessa's fairy, the May Emerald Fairy. Okay, now I'm mixing my kids up. Okay, that was Tessa's Sapphire Fairy. She's born in September. Her birthstone is Sapphire. That was Tessa's. This is my daughter Tinsley. She's born in May, and it's Emerald birthstone. So I had this much of a star on it. You can see it better in this lighting than the last one, but this is acrylic sparkle part of her wing. Her wing's not even supposed to be stitched, but I want to stitch something, so I used acrylic. And then this is her dress, a white, and then this is very light blue in her wing, and I don't know, I think part of her dress. So again, it's just too small of a fabric, and I don't want to be concerned with it anymore. So out with the antique white and in with, this is something I was considering stitching the lavender and lace Celtic Winter on. It's 28 count graceful gray, but I didn't choose that one, and I thought, well, I could put the May Sapphire Fairy on there just to give it a little bit more interest and color, not just be kind of like a lot of white in the fairy on the white fabric. There'll be a little bit of color in the background. So that worked out nicely. I won't show you all the beads. I probably showed you that in another one. And again, quickly I'll show you. I got a fabric, different fabric. I bought what was called for this Rosewood Manor American flag quilt sampler. As you can see here, the fabric looks kind of light, and I went with trying to see. Yeah, it calls for Zweigart Cashel, but that was really dark. And someone else on FlossTube got this pattern and was questioning how dark it was. And so I don't think I bought this. Actually, I think this was in my stash. When I was trying to kit everything up, I was like, I could use this lighter color fabric for that. So it's 28 count vintage smoky white cashel linen. And what I was looking at this a little more. There's actually beads in the border, little stars. And it says, add antique gold stars from By Jupiter in place of stitched stars in the border. So I guess you can choose to stitch the stars or put the beads on. And of course, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the beads. So I have to find those. Okay, last one. This is another one that I really thought was an okay design. I probably would have never bought this, except my daughter loves princesses, and she wanted a Rapunzel doll. So my brother bought her a Rapunzel doll for Christmas. And our last name begins with an R. And you can see there's an R up there. So this is Rapunzel by Nora Corbett. And I am repurposing this fabric. This is 32 count Smoky Pearl Belfast linen. This is what I had started Celtic Winter on and decided I didn't want this fabric. And so now Rapunzel is going to be on it. So that's good. I like finding use for what I have. There's a really, really pretty pink bead in this one. So these are like a very dark teal metallic, and then this really pretty pink. It's like a dark bubblegum pink. And then some gold. And there's some little flower treasures in there. And then just 2 crinox. Looks like Christmas. All right, so that's what I kitted up. Some of it's bought, some of it's not. I was using my some of my stash to try to kit things up. So I thought, I was watching all these stash parade, kit parades, and I want to have my stuff kitted up and ready so that when I actually find a reason to stitch it or would like to stitch it, I don't have to scramble around and purchase what I need. I can just kind of start it. And I like that idea rather than just having like patterns without the stuff you need or random, just a lot of fabric that could go to something I already have. I just haven't spent the time matching it up together. So that's what I'm kind of working on right now, still organizing what I have and trying to get to that perfect setup as far as organizing all of my craft stuff. Last year was just so busy with learning my new work and having 3 kids. I just wasn't in the mood to be as on top of most things in my life as far as like working out or keeping organized. So I'm kind of trying to make up for that. I have this motivation to do that right now. Okay, what else can we talk about? I don't know when I'm gonna get back on here. I would like to do it the first of the month, every month, but I'm actually gonna be in Florida on March 1st. My sister's getting married right outside of Disney World. So after the wedding, we're gonna be visiting Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. We're all very excited about that. I'm a bridesmaid. My 2 daughters are flower girls, and my son is the ring bearer. So it's going to be a fun family gathering. It's my Texas family. That's where I grew up. So they're flying to Florida as well for the wedding, and then we're coming down from Vermont. So we'll be able to spend time together as a family to celebrate and then go to Disney World. So that's something to look forward to, especially to also get down to somewhere that's warmer and take a little break from the cold weather. I don't seem to mind it. It is after like February into March where I'm kind of ready to have the temperatures get a little higher, not have to be as bundled up. If there's snow, I don't mind, but I just get tired of getting bundled up everywhere you have to go and finding the gloves and getting children, you know, having their snow boots on with their snow pants covering their snow boots and putting the gloves on and hoping that they'll keep their gloves on and all. Not that we really go out to play in the snow a whole ton, but when we do, you have to do all that. And then, you know, the big poopy jackets, trying to put them in car seats, you know, it's like you have to take the jackets off to put them in the car seat. And that's what's safer as well. But, you know, if the car is kind of cold, you feel bad to take their jacket off. I usually put their jacket over them after I get them in the car seat so that they have something to keep them warm if the car is cold to get into. But I'll show you what I managed to get accomplished in the month of February when I get back on here, and maybe put in a picture or two from our Disney trip. I hope everyone's doing well and staying warm if you're in these cold area, in the cold area like me. Happy stitching. Take care. Bye.